Meteorologist Tuttle here with you. It is time to get back to the track here of tracking some potential storms. We'll detail that for you here for tonight. I know there's been some scary forecasts floating around out there. We'll see how much truth is to all of that. There's enough fear out there everywhere today. Does it have to include the weather? Well, I'll let you know here. We'll put a scientific sound mind on it, turn it loose, and see what happens. So thanks for joining me. I'm meteorologist Tuttle again. If you're just now tuning in, and if it's your first time, welcome. If it's your 1,000th time, thank you. So appreciate you liking, following, sharing the forecast, the blogs, the posts, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. Make sure you get notified, tap the bell, hit, when I go live, all that kind of stuff. And try to get as much information out there as I can as time permits. So tonight, we did a little Facebook Live at lunchtime today. So if you missed that, here's your chance to kind of get a recap of what's going to happen. There was a talk, at least a bit, of some severe weather possible in Oklahoma. So we're going to see if that's going to continue. So thanks for watching. This will be a relatively short one tonight. The crowd goes wild. Yeah, I get a little long-winded. This one will be a pretty short one. So I got things to do this, believe it or not. Okay, so let me minimize, maximize, all that kind of eyes, and we'll get onto it. Sometimes I crack myself up. Okay, so don't want to give away just yet. Okay, here we go. First things first, we're gonna have some heat. Coming again, back again tomorrow. So these are temperatures over the state tomorrow. Likely hit the, let's say, mostly 80s over the state. Today, man, it was toasty. My goodness, we had some 90s, even near 100 degrees. And actually, I didn't even show that. I thought about loading that up, and I totally forgot all about it. So we'll show it to you here real quick, just so you can see how hot it was out there this afternoon. And then we'll talk about the rest of the forecast. So let's see here. Here you go. Wait, what? That's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Make it big. All right, so yeah, we were in the 90s, man. Can you believe that? So yes, this was record-setting heat. Goodness gracious. Lots of mid-90s here over the body of the state. Woo! 100 down there in southwest Oklahoma. I think that's the first time that 100 has been seen this early in the year. That's disgusting. What happened to spring? We just jumped right into summer. We do not want to repeat that again. Ay vey. All right, enough of that nonsense. Okay, so for tomorrow, it won't be as bad. We'll be in the 80s at least, mostly for the state. We have a little extra moisture to work with, so that'll kind of help to keep the temperatures down, but it's going to feel a little bit more humid, all right? That's the trade-off. Now, on Saturday, looking good. How about some 60s to around 70 for a daytime high? Not bad. What about Sunday? Well, Sunday's actually not bad either. Kind of a carbon copy of Saturday. Lots of 60s out there, around 70 degrees. So good-looking weekend. You're going to love it. Get out there and get your stuff done. Now, severe weather talk. Earlier, the National Weather Service had a slight risk of severe weather. I think something like this. And they have now since erased that and just have a green area, which is marginal risk of storms. So why did that happen? Well, here's like the Storm Prediction Center. Again, those two kind of mimic each other. They don't always agree 100% of the time, but 99% of the time they do. They do work across the aisle from one another, so I'm sure one of them throws something at the other, goes, "Hey, knucklehead, what are you doing over there?" Then the guy throws something back, goes, "Mind your own business." So I'm sure there's a little bit of that every now and then, but for the most part, they're lock, step, and barrel. So if you look up here across the Kansas area into western Missouri, you do have your little spot of the slight risk of severe storms, and there's that general outline here across northern Oklahoma. We highlighted all this at lunchtime today, but we're going to talk about the details. And if you look at the wording on this, it's not very scary, folks, because the main word here that you need to know, expected to remain largely capped, the warm sector. We're going to be in the warm sector tomorrow, all right? And there is a conditional severe risk still evident over Oklahoma. Now, should a supercell type structures form of a storm, that would be in northern Oklahoma near the state line, and if so, the primary risk with that would be hail with a low conditional risk for a strong wind gust and possibly a tornado. In other words, this is a very low probability, low risk event for Friday afternoon and evening. So do not be running around like a chicken with your head cut off. There is no point to any of that. All we have is basically a chance for an isolated severe storm, and that's it. That's pretty lame for this time of the year. Usually we're talking about numerous storms. If we're only talking about one, that's pretty good. So here's a look at how things ought to progress for tomorrow. Now, in the midday hours, we're talking right around lunchtime, we'll likely see some elevated showers, maybe with a rumble of thunder, maybe a rogue strike of lightning, and yes, could even be some pea-sized hail or something fall out of these elevated showers that move through. But otherwise, they should not be severe. No threat for anything, damaging like damaging winds or very, very large hail or tornadoes. Nothing like that. But don't be surprised around lunchtime if you see a few of these little isolated showers or thunder showers move through, just because the instability is returning during the day. Then we'll look toward the 6 o'clock hour, and you can see out here in western Oklahoma, the models do try to produce a couple of storms out here. All right, this is Oklahoma City here in the middle, Tulsa over here on the right. But back out here in northwest Oklahoma near Woodward, a couple of storms try to get going there, and also up across into Kansas. Now, here's the problem with all this. I'll plot the forecast sounding. This is going to put your mind at ease. So if you see talk of severe storms in northwest Oklahoma, let me tell you, they're going to be very high based. All right, what does that mean? It means bone dry on the moisture levels, lowest levels of the atmosphere. So in other words, you can see the base of the cloud for this particular storm so far up there, you're like, good grief, how does that thing go? We're talking thousands and thousands of feet. All right, so what happens in those situations? You just get a little bit of hail out of them, and that's about it. So that would be the supercell type structure. So what happens is you have to have at least that storm form for one. And then as we head into the evening environment, you're going to have things progress eastward. Hang on. So we'll pick northern Oklahoma, for example. All right, maybe around K County, something like that. All right, now we're going to go into the evening hours because it'll take about a 3-hour window from those storms to get going and move to the east. So here's the deal with this. The shear is actually better. See this? So nice turning with height with all little wind barbs. The sounding does say marginal tornado. And we still have a very strong cap in place. So bottom line is, if a storm hasn't gotten rooted in the boundary layer, then that means it falls apart and there's no severe weather. But if it does, there's just a teeny tiny chance that maybe something can happen. That would be across far northern Oklahoma. All right, but here's the 3 Zulu, so 9 p.m. time slot. The storm's died out, folks. See this? This from here to 3 hours later, gone. The models just didn't find it. Now they try to fire them up again around midnight across southern Kansas. Even those struggle, don't really hold together much. So this whole severe weather event is kind of a nothing burger, as they say. If you look at the tech model, which I like a lot for severe weather storm prediction and production, it's got a little stuff here in central Oklahoma for the midday hours, maybe a little bit out across east. And then as we head into the evening hours, it tries to fire off once again from about 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., that same little location we looked at, but it suffers from the same dynamics aloft, and they just struggle. They just can't get rooted. If you can't get rooted in the boundary layer, you don't survive. And these guys just don't survive. They try over and over, even up through, looks like 3 a.m. in the morning here in central Oklahoma. So you might still get some bubble up showers. You might get an elevated, little lightning strike, maybe some small hail, something coming out of that. But tornado threat would be non-existent. So that's the good news I have for you. If you want more good news, here is a look at the long-range tornado potential. So we talked about these guys earlier in the spring. They're going to give it, this is their second year to attempt this. In other words, they try to actually produce, if we're going to have above normal, below normal, or average when it comes to tornado potential over certain weeks. And they go out, I think, about 4 weeks in time. All right, so here's our forecast out for the rest of this week into this last line. So it would be this guy here up through forecast of 4/11, so April 11th. They have BA. Now, what do you think BA stands for? It's not body odor, because it's an A, not an O, but it stands for below average. Wah, wah. So our severe weather season is coming in pretty lackluster, and I'm totally okay with that. And I know you are too. But that's what we got so far. That's the good news I have for you, and that's it. That's the story for tonight. So I told you to be relatively quick. Relatively. I got to talk a little bit, but not bad for 10 minutes. So Perry on YouTube says, hey, she's checking in. Jennifer, I'm telling you, every now and then I take a silly pill. Perry's not ready for the heat. Well, Perry, I don't know what to tell you. We've already had it at it. So if you survive today, you'll survive tomorrow. You'll be in good shape. Thanks you guys for watching on Twitter and Periscope. Make sure you also leave a few comments for me. I'll try to get to them during the broadcast. And of course, my patrons are always very commentive. Is that a word? Commentive? In other words, you communicate a lot. You leave comments. Commentive? I don't know if it wasn't a word. I just made it. So Google it. Angela's in the house, and Sharon, Deanne, good to see you, ladies. Diana, I hope that's what you wanted. That's what I had for you. Let's see. Sharon, we're supposed to be counting. I don't know what you're counting. It was hot, though, Christy. I was going to do some outside work, and then it's a little too warm. It was just a little too hot. I was going to do just a little bit, and it's just too hot. But we'll do that. Try that tomorrow in the morning or something before the sun gets up, like a farmer. But yeah, Sharon, the stream kind of went down there just briefly for a second. All I can say, there's probably a lot of people on the internet these days, so it's probably kind of choking the bandwidth a little bit. So there may be some times where things kind of dip out or pause, and that's probably the main reason. So I'll just go to the main page of Facebook and see if you guys had anything to say real quick. I can only scroll through about the last 50 comments. Some are amusing. Let's see. And then I'm going to turn you loose. The Nader King. Boy, I tell you what, you guys watching that Netflix documentary of the Lion King, whatever it is. You know, I met that dude. I went down there and checked out the lions in his little park, and he was a character. He was a big Longhorn fan. Go figure. But he was in his own world. I will say that. But I need to watch the rest of the Tiger King though to find out how goofy this dude was. I hear it's a good story. And then, of course, people watching this on Netflix across the country are going to think that Oklahomans a bunch of crazy people. They might be right, but not to that extent. At least I'm thinking. We'll see. I'll save my full review until after I watch the whole thing. All right, let me see. Scroll on by the bottom. You guys are talking politics. Today's weather was amazing, says the Canadian, who would never experience 92 or 93 degree heat up in Winnipeg this time of the year, or almost any time of the year. They do get into the low 90s on occasion, but she got a taste of it here in March. That's all I'd like to see is a taste. I'm done with that. And she's plugging my weather app, AT's Weather to Go. Jody, you're so cute. So yeah, you can search for that on Google or Apple Play. It's free, and it'll warn you of tornadoes before they develop. It's pretty smart, uses some fancy algorithms, and it gives you about an extra 10 to 15 minutes to prepare, which can be vital when it comes to saving your life and your family's life and getting things into the shelter, including all the kids and the pets. I don't know. Looks like I missed some type of comment here. Somebody's going to have to get banned. I see some dirty language. I don't know why that's on there. But I got a zero tolerance policy for language. So if you feel like you want to leave it because it's a free country and you got freedom of speech, that's fine. Just know that my freedom is to ban your butt. So that's what's going to happen. All right. Well, that's it for me. Scanned a lot of your comments here. Get rid of Brett Simmons. Yeah, he's the one that I saw. There's always got to be a troll, you know. Life wouldn't be complete if you didn't have a world of trolls. So, ban Brett Simmons. Oh, that was so easy to do. Oh, you know what? And I got rid of my Taylor Swift Look What You Made Me Do song. Oh, I should put that back on there. I haven't had to ban anybody in a long time. Brett was the one that did it. That's a shame. Alrighty, well look, I'm out here for tonight. Well, thank you guys for watching. If anything changes tomorrow on the data, I'll let you know at lunchtime and or in the evening hours, of course. But if anything does happen, I'd cover that, assuming it would be tornadic in nature. I don't cover just showers or an elevated thunderstorm or anything like that. That does nothing for me. In Oklahoma, we get those all the time, and it's called weather, and just doesn't do much for me. Anyway. All right, well, I get out of here. Thanks again for watching tonight, and have a great night's sleep, and we'll talk again soon. All right, bye, everybody.